Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the fifth part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is Emma. I believe links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 5, Introductions to Past Lives. Indeed, Hibiki Kenzoku was Iron Man or Tony Stark in a past life. Of course this revelation would pack more of a punch if they knew who he was. Yeah. I don't think any of know who that is, said Toru. Sorry. I was a big deal in my old world, said Hibiki. So was I. But you don't see me expecting you to know who I was, said Isuku, going back to Sanji mode. Both Momo and Achiko nodded in agreement, and maybe Toru. It was hard to tell. Wait, were they all famous in their past lives? Thought Masaro with a sweat drop. Look, okay. So my point is I was hero in my past life. And heroes and villains were pretty rare since it had just started, said Hibiki, and the world's equivalents to quirks were even more rare. Wait, did you say you fought alien invasions? Asked Isuku. Oh wow. That sounds really awesome, said Toru. Can you tell us about that? Asked Achiko. You know what, how about another time? Said Hibiki. I just wanted to get the ball rolling. It was clear he really didn't want to talk about those things. All right, said Aiko. Now you guys should introduce your past lives, like say how you died. Oh damn, muttered Hibiki. I forgot a rule. Rule 4, we don't talk about our deaths. It's a personal matter. I'd rather not talk about my death, and I'm sure that's the same for you. How did you forget important rule? Asked Masaro with a sweat drop. Look, I forgot, okay, said Hibiki with a sweat drop. He'd probably be without pants if it weren't for me, said Aiko. One time. Just one time, yelled Hibiki. You leave the house without pants one time and it haunts you for life. This just made everyone else sweat drop. Anyways, yelled Hibiki, blushing. Tails, you're up first, since you have to explain that problem of yours. Problem? Asked Achiko. Well, you see, in my past life I was a wandering martial artist named Ryoga Hibiki, said Masaro. Yep. Dealing with two Hibikis, said Hibiki with a sweat drop. Though yours is your given name, not family, pointed out Masaro. Yeah, said Hibiki. But still, that's really cool, said Achiko. It really fits, you know. Yeah, it does sound cool. I mean, I traveled all over Japan, even went to other countries. But the problem, said Masaro. He took a breath. I had no sense of direction, said Masaro. What? Asked the three girls. Not another moss head, growled Isuku. Everyone stared at Isuku. Moss head? Asked Momo. Someone I knew in my past life. He had green hair, said Isuku. I'll explain when it's my turn. But Deku, your hair, said Achiko, pointing out his hair was also green. Isuku sighed. So you knew a guy with no sense of direction, said Masaro, hoping that Isuku knew how to deal with it. Yeah, sometimes we'd look away for like 5 seconds, then he'd be gone, said Isuku, who clearly entered Sanji. The damn idiot blamed everyone else for getting lost. Don't worry, I know that it's a problem, sighed Masaro, and unfortunately it came back when I got my past life memories. What? Asked Momo. How does that happen? Asked Achiko. I don't know, said Masaro. And now a dramatization of how he lost his sense of direction. In Masaro's mindscape, both Ryoga's memories and Masaro watched in horror as a device labeled sense of direction broke. I'm so sorry, yelled Ryoga's memories. It's okay. We'll figure something out, said Masaro. Anyways, all I know is when I tried to ask the nurses about the cupcakes, I kept getting lost, explained Masaro. Wait, you getting the cupcakes too? Asked Isuku. So I wasn't the only one, said Ochako. But I have to say they quite delicious, said Momo. Yeah, said Isuku. They ate the cupcakes? Thought both Ochako and Masaro with a sweat drop. So yeah, I'm already planning some work around for it, said Hibiki, so don't worry. No matter what choice you make, I will make sure you will get the help with your new problem. Thanks, said Masaro. Anything else interesting about your past life? Asked Ochako. Well, it's really embarrassing, but I had a curse, said Masaro. In my past life I fell into a cursed spring, and whenever I was hit with cold water I would turn into a piglet, and turn back with hot water. Yeah, that's really weird, said Ochako. Yeah, I wasn't the only one. My best friend had it better in that he turned in a woman, but most other people I knew turned into animals because of it, said Masaro. Did the curse follow you in this life? Asked Hibiki, as this was the first time hearing about it. During his visit he learned about the whole no sense of direction thing, but this was new. No, I checked. Masaro. Anything else you want to tell us about? Asked Hibiki. No, I'm fine, said Masaro. Can I go next? Said Toru. Sure, said Hibiki. In my past life I was named Pinkie Pie. I was party planner and baker. In fact, I was the one who made everyone cupcakes, said Toru. You made the cupcakes, yelled the other four. Sorry, maybe I should have told you, said Toru. How did you make them? Asked Ochako. They were so well made, and how you had to have access to an oven, said Isuku. Toru hummed, I don't know. How about you should move on, said Hibiki with a sweat drop. I feel like this might be something man is not meant to know, said Aiko. You know what, maybe we shouldn't question the cupcakes, said Masaro with a sweat drop. The other three nodded in agreement. And so was the birth of the group's unofficial motto, don't question the cupcakes. Anyways, not only was I all of those, but I was from the magical land of Equestria, said Toru, and I was a talking pony. The room became silent. You're the one whose life was sunshine and rainbows, wasn't it? Asked Ochako with a sweat drop. Yep, said Toru. Also, ponies weren't just ponies. Well, I mean is that some ponies were unicorns and others Pegasi. I was a normal pony though, they're called earth ponies there. Also, there were other creatures who talked too, like dragons, griffins, hippogriffs, and yaks. Can't forget the yaks. I was really good friends with the yaks. Both Ochako and Momo were unsure how to react to any of this and just sat there surprised. However, Isuku and Masaro were weirded out, but for different reasons. I can't believe I'm numb to this, thought Masaro. The Grand Line was too weird, thought Isuku with a sweat drop. It should be noted that in their past lives they had obtained seen it all status. Nothing weird would ever surprise them ever again. Also, me and my friends were the bearers of the elements of harmony at one point. We were kind of the protectors of the land. We dealt with a lot of big threats too, said Toru, and humans didn't exist in my world, but there was another universe where my friend Twilight went to that did, and she turned into a human when she did. Anything else you need to explain? Asked Hibiki, who had also archived seen it all status in his past life. Not that I can think of that's important, said Toru. So who would like to go next? Asked Hibiki. I would, said Ochako. My name was Hinata Uzumaki. In my past life I was ninja. Really? Asked Momo. That's so cool, said Isuku. Ochako began to blush a lot and fiddle with her fingers. Well, I retired at a young age for personal reasons, she said. Please don't ask what they were. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it. It's fine, said Hibiki, getting a feeling what it was. So does that mean you can do all sorts of cool ninja tricks? Asked Isuku. No, said Ochako, when I lost something from my past life. What do you mean? Asked Toru. Well, you see, the way we were able to those things was because an energy in our bodies called chakra. However, even if I do have chakra in this life, I can't use it because the pathways are gone. Pathways? Asked Masaro. It was an entire body system. She explained, throughout the body were special pathway for chakra, similar to circulatory system, it wove throughout the entire body. Priestess can't create new body part from nothing, said Hibiki. Her quirk has a side effect of strengthen the body to the body in their prime, however it can't create body parts. One of her past victims was original from a world where everyone had wings, but obviously the quirk didn't recreate the wings. Unfortunately, my entire fighting style had to do with chakra, said Ochako. It's okay, said Hibiki, these things happen. I know what you're going though, it's the same with me, said Momo, though I wasn't a ninja. Really? Asked Ochako. It was clear it was now Momo's turn. I was a mage and my name was Urza Fernandez, said Momo. Oh, you used magic? Asked Toru. That's what a mage does, said Momo, but yeah, the world from my past life, 10% of the population could use magic. But you can't use magic in this life, said Masaro. No, you see, there was a container in my body that stored magic using particles in the atmosphere called ether nano, but even if I had the container, I don't know if ether nano exists in this world, said Momo, but it's not that bad. You can't use magic anymore, said Toru. Wait, does it have to do with your quirk? Momo nodded. See, my magic was called Requip. It allowed me to store weapons, armor and other thing in a pocket dimension. She explained, but my quirk is able to replicate it by creating the weapons I need. It's not completely perfect though, since a lot of my weapons in my past life were magical in nature. Lucky, sighed Ochako, my fighting skills was built forcing chakra into my opponent's systems. I'm sure you'll figure something out, said Momo. That's all I can think of for now about myself. So I guess it's my turn, said Izuku somewhat nervously. In my past life I was Sanji and I was a pirate. Wait, you were a pirate? Asked Momo. Seriously? Asked Masaro. Oh come on, that doesn't mean he was a bad guy, said Toru. Yeah, said Izuku, we did steal sometimes, but most of the time our crimes was just going against the government, which was extremely corrupt. How corrupt? Asked Hibiki. I'd rather not talk about it, said Izuku somewhat darkly. It was clear that whatever corruption the government had affected him in many ways. Anyway, he said, changing the subject, we were much closer to adventures and explorers. That sounds exciting, said Ochako. Izuku's eyes turned to hearts when she said that, then he started blushing. Sorry about that, said Izuku. It's okay, said Ochako. You mentioned someone named Mosshead earlier, said Hibiki. One of my crew members, said Izuku. He had green hair and we fought often. We actually really close, but I wouldn't have admitted in my past life. You made fun of his hair a lot, didn't you? Asked Hibiki. Yeah, said Izuku, blushing knowing he had green hair. You're not the only one in the group that had a different hair color, so don't worry about that fact, said Hibiki. Everyone else nodded in agreement. Yeah, said Izuku, blushing. So were you just a member or did you have a job? Asked Ochako. Oh, I was the cook, said Izuku, then switched to Sanji mode. And don't make fun, that was one of most important roles on the crew. Hey, I was baker, remember? Said Toru. One of my friends was a fighting cook, said Masaro. We were very close and she was a very powerful fighter. Izuku breathed a sigh of relief that at least two of them didn't think it was weird. But yeah, I was the cook. said Isuku. Anyways, we got our instructions out of the way, said Hibiki. There's some other stuff we have to talk about. What? Asked Ochako. Are you going to continue the hero course? Said Hibiki. The four who didn't hear about the fact priestess victims had quit were surprised. You see, the five of you were lucky in that you were all some sort of fighter, said Hibiki, then looked at Toru. Kind of for me, said Toru. Okay, said Hibiki. Anyways, most people had ordinary lives, office workers, farmer, teachers. If there's an ordinary life you can think there was a hero who was one in their past life. The four teens were all surprised. However, Hibiki looked at Isuku. I had someone visit me after you, who told me about it, he explained. I see, said Hibiki. Anyways, unless there was something about their past lives that gave them hope that they could continue being a hero, then they'll take it. Oh yeah. Didn't you say that Yuzu was a comedy writer? Asked Toru. You're right, and for it was, and I quote, if I can deal with Tracy and Jenna, I can deal with being a hero. Everyone stared at Hibiki confused. You don't want to know, said Hibiki, but the fact that you're also teenagers having adults' memories forced into you, we weren't sure if you want to quit. From what the villains that were captured and eyewitness reports from your classmates, all of you put up a fight, though one of you also threw at a party while fighting. Yeah, that sounds about right, said Toru. Wait, is putting up a fight important? Asked Ochako. There are 3 reactions during the feral state, said Hibiki. The most common is flight. Thanks to being a normal person in their past lives, they won't fight back, so they flee. It occurs in 96% of her victims. The second is fight against foes. The person in this state recognizes friend and foe, and they will fight back against their foes. This occurs in 3%. And the final is indiscriminate fighting. They don't care who fight, as long as they're fighting. This happens in 1%. So 4% of all people remain heroes? Asked Ochako. No, that 1% that fights indiscriminately, they turn into villains, said Hibiki. Isuku remembered hearing about it, so he wasn't as surprised as the others. Priestess is a very dangerous. She sticks to small crimes most of the time, but her main weapon when a hero comes after her is her quirk. She is limited to it 5 times a day, and if she paces herself, unlike with you 5, she can take out more than that in a 24-hour period. The fact that more often than not she emotionally crippled heroes. She hates killing, but you would be surprised what you can live through. Aid Hibiki. The 5 teens were quiet, while Isuku already knew what his choice was. He wasn't sure about everyone else's. The person who visited me already told me all this, said Isuku, and as I told him, being a hero is my dream and I'm not giving that up. I wasn't planning on giving up either, said Ochako. Me neither, said Masaro. A lot of terrible things happened to me in my past life, but one of the biggest happened in childhood, said Momo. So if that didn't prevent me from being one of the strongest mages in Fairy Tail, then I can still be a hero? Fairy Tail? Asked Ochako confused. I'm sorry, I forgot you wouldn't know what I'm talking about, said Momo blushing. So this is what it's like on the other side, said Hibiki. None of my problems were that bad, said Toru, except for the time I forgot my own birthday and I went crazy and fans won't let it go thanks to that one story. What? Asked everyone else. Don't ask, said Toru. I wasn't even thinking about quitting, admitted Masaro. Hibiki smirked. Should have known, he admitted. What? Asked Isuku. I'll explain another time, said Hibiki. I will say this, each person is different, however it took me months to fully deal with everything. I'm sure all of you are dealing with some stuff. He looked at Toru. It also most looked like rainbows, bunny heads and hearts were coming from her. Okay, most of you are probably dealing with some stuff, said Hibiki, and that's the group is for. Most of the time we won't have a set thing to talk about, but there will be days I will have you talk about an uncomfortable topic. Don't worry, I made sure that it's not about their deaths," said Aiko. "But most days if you want to get something off your chest you can," said Hibiki. The five all nodded. "Now do you have any questions?" said Hibiki. "It's about my personalities," said Isuku. "Well, from what I seen those shifts are permanent," said Hibiki. "Are you shitting me?" yelled Isuku, entering Sanji. "You're defiantly in the top give of having such different personalities," said Hibiki. "From what I've seen and heard about you will switch between foul-mouthed pirate and timid hero fanboy at the drop of a hat for the rest of your life, but you can control it if you need to rely on your personalities for one reason or another. Like said, you were so tech blind that your own grandpa made fun of you to genius inventor and staying that way when working on new inventions." The five teens stared at him. "My grandpa still makes fun of me, by the way. He's still alive. He often makes fun of the fact I can't use Amazon without my past life abilities." He sighed. "How bad were you?" asked Masaro. "I don't want to talk about it," mumbled Hibiki. "I will tell you if want to hear," said Aiko. "I wasn't born yet, but the family gives me all the juicy details." "Don't you dare!" yelled Hibiki. "Let's change the subject. Anyone else want to tell anything about yourselves?" None of them answered. "Oh, come on," said Hibiki. "Maybe we should talk about we told their parents," said Aiko. "Oh right, that's a good thing," said Hibiki. "Stories say that he was kind of dumb before he got Tony's memories, so," said Aiko. "Please stop talking about that," said Hibiki. They talked about the parental situation, as well as agreeing to talk to Mashareo's parents about his new problem, as well as a couple personality headaches that they could talk about. Namely, Isuku urge to smoke, which Toru suggests using toothpicks if he gets the urge. As well as being told that their therapy sessions will happen at least twice a week and at school, with their next one being their first day when they get back. Also a rather interesting topic he brought up. "Do any of you know to speak English?" he asked in English, because we learned a long time ago that if you spoke a certain language in your past life. Congrats! You're now completely fluent. I didn't even notice, said Momo, realizing it. Wow! I'll get 100% in English from now on, said Toru, also in English. This is so weird, said Isuku, also only trying it out. I only spoke Japanese, cried Ochako. I only learned basic phrases, sighed Mashareo. They dropped the subject, realized they shouldn't rub in their faces. Hours later, they were discharged and all of them went home with Mashareo's parents picking him up. Don't worry, I'm already working on something to help him, said Hibiki. He managed to get home where his mother was waiting for him. Oh, Izuku! She cried, I was so worried. I'm doing much better, don't worry, said Izuku, trying to reassure his mother. His mother Inko claimed down later. So, how are you feeling? She asked. I have a lot memories in my mind from my past life, and there are a lot of unpleasant memories, admitted Izuku, but there were plenty of good memories. She nodded, knowing that was life. So what was it like? Asked Inko. I was a pirate, said Izuku, and I was the cook for the crew. Really? Asked Inko. Hey, how about I cook dinner for us tonight, unless you already made dinner? Said Izuku. No, I haven't, said Inko, but if you're really up to it. Izuku quickly got started, creating a wonderful meal for two. His mother was really surprised at how delicious it was. This is really high quality, she said, and I didn't even buy that great a quality. I learned a lot about cooking in my past life, said Izuku, blushing. Try not to overdo it, said Inko. I only just over my overeating problem. Izuku laughed. Anything else you need to tell me? Asked Inko. I was foul-mouthed, said Isuku. You were a pirate, said Inko, not even blinking at this. Honestly, I'd be more surprised if you weren't. Also, I'll be going through random personality shift, said Isuku. It's okay, assured Inko, unless those personality shifts have you plundering stuff. No, we were explorers and adventurers, sighed Isuku. Inko nodded. Also, I was a chain smoker, said Isuku. What? Asked Inko. Don't worry, I bought some toothpicks to help me with that if I get the urge, said Isuku. I don't know if I can handle you smoking, said Inko. I know, said Isuku. Whatever you're going through will be fine, said Inko, and I'm sure your friends will help you through it. Yeah, said Isuku with a smile. With that, Isuku started settling back into his normal life. However, he knew there was something when he got back to school. He would try to maintain a sense of normalcy. Something was going to change between him and one of his classmates. Because after knowing he had to go through it in both lives, he was no longer going to sit down and take it anymore. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 6. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.